Good morning, Tuesday morning. It's been over a month with no vlogging. Good to be back. Heading now to Tel Aviv for a marathon of meetings, starting with Adi Levanon, an old friend, old VC, new VC. It's good to catch up with her. Lunch with Liat from Microsoft, one of my new favorite people. A couple of other meetings, and then later this afternoon, I'll be interviewing the vice chair and head of global markets of TD Bank, Moti Jungreis, who's visiting here in Israel, obviously originally Israeli. Just super pumped to meet him. TD Bank is a very interesting organization because I can't think of many other banks that when people talk about them, they use the word love. So I'm pumped to meet him. It's going to be a great day, and it's good to be back. Here we go. Tel Aviv. Good news and bad news. Good news, I found parking. The bad news, I circled for like a half an hour until I found that parking spot. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm not sure how no one has really cracked the whole parking situation, but Tel Aviv is just really extraordinarily bad. Going to meet Adi Levanon at Labs, a co-working space here in Tel Aviv. One of the nicer ones. It's owned by Teddy Sagi, who's kind of like a very colorful character, billionaire, and endless investments. Just a very interesting dude. Heading to meet the TD Bank team right now, specifically Moti Jungreis, who's the head of global markets. Okay, it is a very hot day in Tel Aviv today. Holy smokes. I walked 10 minutes from Sarona to here and I'm sweating in places I didn't know I could sweat. All right, so as I told you before, TD Bank is the only bank that I know of. Yeah. Maybe there are others, but I don't know of any other bank that when I say to someone the word TD Bank, 9 out of 10 times get the response, oh my God, I love TD Bank. Like I cannot imagine using the word love about my bank. Yeah. And I don't have anything against my bank, don't get me wrong, but people love TD Bank. And your response to that was that the bank as an organization has put service as its kind of top priority, and to which I responded, you're the Zappos of banking. I don't know if that's a thing, but I love it. Who are you? What's your name?
Okay, my name is Moti Jungreis.
Okay, first of all, Jungreis. That's like a familiar name.
Esther Jungreis.
Oh, she's famous.
She's definitely, I think she's my father's cousin.
Oh, so you're like an important person even without the TD Bank connection.
There you go, exactly.
Also, I don't know if this bothers you that I said this, but when I walked in, what's the first thing that I said? I said, you got the look going on. You got the, what's the founder?
The founder look, yeah, but that's what everybody in Toronto tells me. So
you do, though?
Yeah, they just see a bold Israeli, they're right away associated with him.
I love it. All right, do you watch Founder?
Of course.
Yeah, so I watched a couple episodes. It was like, too much for me. All right, so let's start from the beginning. What is your story? Where are you from? Where do you live? What do you do to talk to me?
So I grew up in Israel, and after serving in the army, I went to Canada. My mom lived there at the time. I went to school. I did BA in Toronto, then I did my MBA. I was on my way back to Israel.
BA in what?
BA in Political Science and International Relations.
Same here.
There you go.
What?
Yofi.
Love it.
And then I did the MBA, and I was about to go back to Israel, and got a job offer from TD Bank to join the capital markets group as an associate.
So in a lot of ways, there's a very similar overlap here, because again, I had nothing to do with tech. I studied political science. But why did they even look at you if you have a political science degree? Like what did?
No, when I did an MBA.
Ah, okay, got it. Okay, right, got it. Okay, so that was I don't want to ask.
23 years ago.
How'd you know I was going there?
I don't know. I figured you must be going there.
23 years ago. So
yes.
That was 23 years ago. So you've been in Toronto for 23 years then?
Yeah, in the middle, I worked for 8 years in London. I ran Europe and Asia for the capital markets group, and then I was about to move back to Israel. It was a dream coming back here. The bank convinced me to move back to Toronto, take a bigger role. Yeah.
Who convinced you?
The bank. The bank CEO at the time.
Got it. Awesome.
Convinced me, yeah.
Okay, tell me just very high level, for those that might not be familiar with TD Bank, like give me some numbers or whatever you can talk to me about how big this organization is, where it's located, etc.
Yeah, so TD stands for Toronto Dominion, not touchdown, but Toronto Dominion. Toronto Dominion, obviously a Toronto-based bank. It's right now the largest foreign bank in the US. Not many people know it, so it's overall probably 6th or 7th largest bank in North America. When you include all the top US banks, it has $1.3 trillion Canadian dollars in assets.
Wow.
Has 85,000 employees.
Wow.
It generates about 12 to 13 billion dollars of net income after taxes every year. So it's an extremely profitable organization, very large, been around for 150 years, very successful, really a Canadian icon.
So I would say you guys are proof that you can do good and do well.
Yes, we survived really well in the crisis.
Incredible.
And we at the end of the day put our customer first, and that's very important. And
awesome.
kind of managed to avoid most of the troubles.
I feel like the banking. I'm being careful here, but I feel like the banking world's going a little bit, old school. You guys it hasn't really affected you guys.
Yeah. Well, so I think the old school move post financial crisis, where people realize, banks serve a certain utility in society, and it's time to move back to that utility and move away from doing all sorts of crazy stuff with a balance sheet.
TD Bank sounds like, again, it's a remarkable, organization. Obviously, it stands alone in terms of, like I said before, how people feel about it, but also the success. The numbers are insane. What's your role in the organization?
So I run the capital markets group. So that means that I'm really on the wholesale bank side, and I run all markets. What does it really mean? It means that we have 11 trading floors around the world, from Asia to Europe to US and Canada to North America. And my job is effectively to run them all. So all the trading, sales, and origination businesses.
Travel?
I travel quite a bit. I try to slow down lately. There's definitely a lot of travel in North America to the different offices and seeing clients. And then there's the occasional trip, obviously, to Europe, to Asia.
Right. So talk to me about what's going on here. We're sitting here in TD Bank,
Yes.
Israel, in Tel Aviv. Why?
So one day I hear that we open an office in Tel Aviv, and I wasn't. It's true. So I wasn't initially involved in it. I get a little bit upset, and I right away got involved and really felt that what I can offer, because it is an office about cyber and technology, and it's not really the space I work in. I run a couple markets.
Right.
I care about macro in the world.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm Israeli, and I felt that it's important that I become very supportive of the office and be a little bit like a godfather in the sense of really providing support.
An ambassador.
Yeah, ambassador for the office. I don't run it. There's people, great executives who support this office, who drive the strategy. I feel that my job is really to give the support on more on the side and really help the office. So I'd like to come. I'd like to visit here. I had the office in my house. I have a house in Israel. I have the office in my house for breakfast last week.
Love it.
So it's great.
I'm a big Julie Baker fan.
I'm a big Julie Baker fan as well.
You guys have met Julie. She's the CEO here of TD Israel.
That's right.
The team in general, I met some of the we don't call them hackers, but the engineers, right?
Yeah.
These guys are just off the charts.
Off the charts smart.
How, and here's the thing, right? I'm just throwing this in there. TD is going against Amazon to recruit people like that, and Facebook and Microsoft and Google, Israel, because these guys are, all of those companies would give anything to recruit the level of talent you have here.
Yeah.
So that again brings us back to the beginning, which is people freaking love TD. There's a reason you guys were able to recruit these guys. They're stars.
Yeah.
All of them. These guys had to exit at the age of 23 or something like that. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Okay, so what as far as their focus, TD's focus in Israel, why Israel? And what is the focus? What's going on here even? From your perspective?
Obviously, the focus in Israel is exactly for that, cyber or innovation that goes on here. Everybody in North America sees what's happening in Israel. The talent here is unbelievable. The opportunity to recruit amazing talent here is unbelievable. The opportunity to...
So I'm telling them to listen carefully to what you have to say about that.
Yeah.
I want to plug Israel. You're plugging Israel. I want them to listen. That's all.
Yes, exactly. So I think it's important when you look at Israel and seeing the talent that we have here and the technology here, that we are close to that place, and that we can hear and we can meet people and we can see all the technologies that are being developed here, and we can recruit the talent, and we can either help invest in some technologies or help implement in our own bank, and at the same time see here and raise the TD flag. So I think that's something that we decided to do, and it's great. I'm very happy about it. So
I would imagine, correct me if I'm wrong, I would imagine a challenge. Forget for one second TD Bank, but any bank that opens up an innovation center, in a foreign country that wants to run POCs and wants to integrate with vendors, with startups, The challenge is then bringing it through the bank, and I would imagine it helps that they have a guy like you on their side.
Yeah, absolutely helps. Where I can help. As you can imagine, I don't even understand half those technologies, but just being here and providing the credibility or helping give the background and on the companies help for sure.
I'm curious, and I'm putting you on the spot here. I don't know if you this has anything to do with your world, but I am curious about it. Does TD as an organization, or you specifically, have any thoughts on the new kind of currency, crypto?
Oh, I have a lot of thoughts on that.
Hit me, baby.
Yes. So I've been a skeptic. I think at TD, I whenever we have a discussion about crypto, I tend to get involved more because of the impact on markets and whether it's something we need to get involved. I think that I look a little bit at crypto. If I like to be positive, I look at a little bit of the early days of the internet, which is basically we have something new. Everybody knew that. I think everybody recognized that 10, 15, 20 years out, we're going to have a digital economy. And digital economy means we're going to have digital currencies. It's uncertain how it's going to look.
Right.
And I think that the fight between a Bitcoin and on one hand and doing what Facebook is trying to do on the other is really where it's interesting. If you talked to me a year or two ago, I would have suggested going the Facebook route, and that's I still believe because I feel that Bitcoin, everything that we were told about Bitcoin has not materialized. The story keeps changing, and at the end of the day, you cannot create new currency and think that you're going to use an anarchist way of running it. It's not going to work because democratic governments are going to shut it down. So the best way for cryptocurrency to be successful is to work with government. For example, imagine Israel having every citizen having a digital wallet where they can transform money around, but it's shekels. It's a digital shekel.
So it's regulated. It's
regulated.
I love it.
And there's upside to it and downside. The downside is that the government may know and be able to monitor every cent. The upside is that it does bring everybody together and it does give accessibility to that to everybody, and hopefully the lower cost and in a faster way.
So I mean, really, what I was looking to hear is that the fact that it's even being discussed.
Yeah, of course it's been discussed. We look at it as and it's also about fintech. When we look at fintech, when we look at crypto, we look at them as a threat and an opportunity. It's a threat if you don't come with a strategy of how to utilize it.
Right.
But people who try to come and talk about how banks are a thing of the past really don't understand what banks are there for.
Well, also, TD is the exception to the rule, but anyway.
No, but in general, banks are in the trust business. TD is in the trust business. We need people to trust us. We need to lend. People still need to lend. You need a lot of capital. Banks are highly regulated. No one has a desire to see bank fail because it comes at a cost. So I don't know, we're drifting off, but the crypto space is part of it.
Love it. I love
the
it.
Crypto discussion.
So, I mean, again, the goal of this, I guess, center or whatever, what do they call it?
Innovation Center. Innovation Center.
Right. So is to increase innovation within the bank and to bring, like I said, POCs of innovative companies in Israel, many of which we discussed earlier, some of which I'm working with, and there's really, as you know, incredible companies here. But I'm going to ask you again, put you on the spot. Like, what would you say today are yours and the bank's primary challenges in the near future?
For me, in my group, in the capital markets business, there's a lot of technologies on the trading and sales side, right? Things are becoming more automated. Technology is taking over. At the same time, our cost and regulation have gone up. Right. So there is, on one hand, squeeze on the trading and sales businesses, and that's true through the industry and it's true for us. At the same time, our costs gone up because of the regulatory environment is being a bit more stringent, and technology is coming in and helping us, but it's also replacing the trading and sales traditional model. So I think the biggest challenge is to adapt to a new model where trading and sales, you embrace technology in trading and sales, and you really create margin or value added to the bank and the shareholders by using businesses that use balance sheet to provide capital to clients and advice to clients, and you try to automate or right size a lot of the trading and sales businesses. So that's from capital markets group. For the bank, again, I'm not the CEO of the bank, just speaking here as a senior executive. I think for the bank is first of all the cyber side, and I'm here. Obviously, banks, and that includes CD, view cyber as the biggest threat today. So that's a big challenge because we have to put our best resources into making sure that our systems are safe. Because, someone was talking about it that, in traditional banking, if a bank was robbed, someone came to a bank and robbed the bank was a victim. There was a robbery in a branch, the bank was a victim. Today, if someone is robbing us through cyber attack,
you're like a hero.
they're a hero, we're not a hero, we look like we failed. Right? There's no protection from the government. So that's a big threat for a big challenge for banks. The other challenge is really, disruptive technologies.
Point, by the way.
It is, right?
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Now it's like fascinating.
Yeah.
Wow.
So now in disruptive technology coming to banking, our job is a challenge. Our job is to figure out where this world is going and to make sure that we always on top of technology, that we come up with the Uber application for banking and make life for our customers easier every day and be on top of that game. We cannot afford to lose that game at any given time because today's things are, people just moving to the next easiest thing to use, right? So as long as we're on top of it and making the experience to bank with TD as something that people appreciate, then we're on top of the game. And that's our biggest challenge.
The translation of what we said in the beginning of how people love you is that banking has become commoditized. I don't care if I'm at Mizrahi, Leumi, or wherever. It doesn't even matter to me. Whoever gives me less fees, I'm going to them, except for TD. You guys are not commodity. People have loyalty to TD Bank.
Yes.
And that you have to maintain that loyalty.
Yeah, because it's a trust factor, right? You lose trust in a second, it takes you tens of years, decades to build it. And the other one is realizing there's always a person that you can talk to that understands your needs, that is happy to discuss your needs and move forward. And it's balancing again because we have a generation of people right now who grew up who don't feel they can just do everything on their iPhone. They don't feel like they need that personal support on the other side. So you gotta be able to provide that service to both of those.
That is interesting, actually. Just like as we say, al regel achat, on one foot in English, but that's not a good translation. Real quick, what is TD's or your specific thoughts on mobile technology as far as banking is concerned?
So first of all, we love it in the sense that it makes our customer is able to engage with us any second of the day, right? I use my TD app every day. There's probably 4 or 5 apps I use every day, and I'm sure you do as well, right? So for me, it's like Amazon and Uber are top up there, and there's Uber Eats now in Canada as well, so we order food, so that I use Uber, I use those apps, but I also use my TD app. So as long as we can get our customers to use our app every day, that's great, because in the old days, I'm starting to sound very old. But 10 years ago, their engagement with the bank was maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks when they go to the branch and deposit their checks and all. Now they can actually be interacting with us every day, and that's a good thing for us.
Love it. Listen, bottom line is like this. From my perspective, like I said, I'm a big fan of the team here, big fan of the work you guys are doing here. Love that you're here.
Yeah.
Super honored to meet you. But it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. I've said it to Julie 1,000 times. If there's ever anything I can do to help you specifically or this organization here, Organization Globe, whatever it is, I'm happy to, whether it's introductions to startups here, I'm seeing just an endless flow of deal flow in this country. Introduction, I don't even know. Again, your challenges. Do feel free to take me up on that because, like I said, big fan. And it's been an honor to meet you and just keep doing what you're doing.
It's great. Thank you so much
for your time, and I appreciate it. Thanks. Well, that was awesome. Not a bad way to start my vlogging again. See you tomorrow at Powtoon.